Sailing a boat isn't always as easy as it might sound. Don't believe us? Take it from these 55 idiots caught on camera. Let's have a look at everything you're not supposed to do. This guy tied his boat during high tide and got pushed into the harbor. Knowledge of high and low tide is arguably the most important part of being a sailor. These boaters sped in a bit too fast and scratched their boat while trying to park. That is exactly how not to park a boat.
Got there, kid.
He's hitting it. Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Oh, smash him up.
Oh! Right in the shot.
Yep, you scratched your boat. What did we do? We scratched the boat.
This boat was out of control and smashed into this ferry. Good thinking by the owner to let everyone know to stand clear. Maybe if they knew how to drive, they would still have an undamaged boat.
Shit! Holy shit!
That many people on a boat of that size? It's a miracle the boat is still floating. Maybe they weigh a bit less because their heads are empty? These people were stuck with the current and crashed into a bridge. They knew exactly what was about to happen, but couldn't do anything to avoid it. This idiot tried to speed through a lowering bridge and got the mast caught in it. That boat is now going to have to operate as a speedboat. This man somehow fell off his own boat while driving it. Good thing it only crashed in sand and not some other boat. Two luxury boats crashed into each other, and the owners can do nothing but watch. That's okay. If they can afford the yachts, they can afford the repairs. These drunk people lost count while getting on, and got wet when their boat capsized. Maybe count the heads next time? This cargo ship crashes into a bridge and causes loads of destruction. See, even professional sailors aren't guaranteed to be good at their job. This boat crashed into a rogue wave. That must have shaken up the owners from head to toe. Here's a demonstration on how you're not supposed to drive your boat out of the harbor. That skipper was so bad. No wonder they couldn't make it 2 minutes without crashing. This ship captain crashed into a $1 million mansion. How on earth did that guy land this job? Just look at all the damage.
Durmayacak, çarpacak.
Oo, yalıyı yedi ya. Vay anasını.
Okay, this looks cool, but it would have ruined the underside of the speedboat. Boats really don't belong on land, not even a little bit. Someone's jet ski decided to go on an adventure. That's what happens when you don't park it properly. The more you watch this clip, the more confused you get about what this guy was trying to do. How can you speed into land by mistake? This is one way of finding out if your boat would fit under a bridge. Good thing they stopped before that glass shattered. This powerboat capsized during the race. What's a way to lose a water race? We thought water racing drivers were supposed to be good. These guys seemingly forgot that brakes existed. That's a pretty cool entrance though. Hopefully they're all good. These people put their boat into a van. Can't wait for it to slip out in the middle of the street. This massive ship crushed the small boat in its way. Look at all the civilian boats going out to help. That fool driving the ferry should be stripped of his post. These guys were trying to show off by driving on land, but ended up making fools of themselves. The boat flipped at the end. This driver parked poorly, and the wind was not having it whatsoever. It chewed up the boat and returned it for even more insult to injury. The captain of this boat forgot to hit the brakes and endangered the lives of all the civilians standing there. Ever seen a boat hit and run? This boat driver must have thought that sleeping it off would be the easier way of dealing with it. This boat apparently has a mind of its own and keeps spinning round and round. That looks like a ball of fun. Here's another fool who didn't know how to park their boat. Good luck trying to get a hold of it now. This clip looks like a perfect day, until a yacht comes around and ruins the day. This hilarious guy fools his friend into thinking they were about to collide. Now this is the harmless humor we all love to see. This massive boat collides with the bridge while passing. Just those sounds are enough to know how badly the boat was damaged.
Ha toccato. Stonk si sta incagliando. Opla. Slowly, certo. Opla.
This ship was sneaky and tried to trample people all by itself. The rope it was tied to broke, and it snuck through the darkness to crash with the railing. This boat was going a bit too fast and crashed into a parked boat. The owner of the parked boat is not going to be very happy about that. A ferry crashed into a crane in Barcelona and a fire erupted, all because someone let an idiot drive the ferry. These guys caught a massive fish, and this fool just threw it back into the water. Good for the poor fish, but that guy's friends are never going to let him hear the end of it. Going forward and crashing is becoming too easy for these idiots, so they started crashing while going backwards. They really have reached a new low. The speedboat crashes into a rock and sends people flying. Do they not know that boats are only meant to be sailed on water? Pushing a canoe into the water like that is never going to work. Poor guy was always going to end up in the water. It was his first time kayaking too. This sailboat's mast runs right into the massive battleship and gets absolutely destroyed. Maybe the owner should try sailing away from the massive gray ship next time? These guys' boat was sinking, and they still looked as calm as ever, probably because they had no idea what was happening around them. Sinking in style. These two were riding waves, and one of the waves completely owns them. That boat just got eaten up and stalled. This boat is so heavy, it pulls the heavy-duty vehicle into the water too. They eventually managed to get the boat out of the water though. The container ship boosts the small sailboat along with it. The people on that sailboat must either be very smart or extremely lucky not to have capsized. This guy forgot to put his car in park and saw it get pulled into the water by the boat. At least he tried his best, right? If crashing into the boat wasn't enough, this guy destroyed everything in his path before finally coming to a complete stop. These guys were trying to pull off a high-speed stunt, but ended up with mouthfuls of sand. This woman is revving up her engine, but isn't moving. Could it be because of the pole she's tied to? Who knows? Every bit of this yacht is on fire, and yet it's still somehow moving about just fine. The driver has a bit more to get wrong yet. This 300 horsepower engine boat flies across a marina and crashed into multiple vehicles. It looks like the owner accidentally stepped on the gas instead of the brake.
Then veered across another boat and a trailer attached to a car before flying across a jetty and coming to a stop.
This boat owner sped up to beat the closing drawbridge. The waves they produced wrecked all the boats parked in the marina. They're probably going to want to lay low for the next few days.
Don't even try. Don't try.
This girl was trying to film how much fun they were having boating around in a storm, when the waves reminded her why everyone else decided to stay on land. These guys were trying to parallel park a huge yacht, and made a complete mess of it. The boat just wouldn't stop moving. This guy was trying to show off how his boat can speed over pretty much anything. Maybe speeding over a fallen tree trunk isn't such a good idea.